So I'm working with a client that has a bunch of genius solution architects, and they all say it depends to basically everything. And this is understandable because they're doing software development. So usually the answer is it depends. But it depends is a terrible answer in sales because it creates indecision for the prospect because now they have to evaluate all these different options and then they have more questions, they have to bring in more people, and it just delays the sale. So I have always been taught as a solution architect, answer every question with a question as a clarifying question. And I think that's terrible advice because I can't stand it when people don't answer my questions directly, so I don't recommend it. So instead, what I have found is when I am about to answer a question with it depends, I know that I can probably narrow that answer down if I just ask a clarifying question. So when I get a straightforward question, I just answer it. When I get something where I'm about to say it depends, I stop and I ask a question back. And that question 99% of the time is, good question, why do you ask? And when I ask that question, it stops me from answering questions with a super long it depends answer that can confuse people, and it allows me to simplify it. And so let's take an example here because I like everything to be practical. If you get the question of how do you recommend we integrate your solution with our backend systems? That may be a different question based on the audience that you're getting it from. So you may get that question from an enterprise architect. And if they're doing it, they probably want to know all the different integration protocols. If you get that question from a dev, they're probably just focused on, hey, do they offer modern web services so that I don't have to do as much work? But then if you get that question from a business user, all they probably care about is, do I have to log into another system to do my work? So the audience is super important in order to understand that question. And then the second bit is understand what the actual question is. Because they may be asking, how do you integrate with our backend systems? But what they really want to know is, do you integrate with Oracle? And so that's a completely different thing that can save you time. So when I'm about to say it depends, what I do is I stop and I ask my clarifying question of, good question, why do you ask? And then based on that, I'll usually get different responses. Because what you might get back when you ask, customer asks you, how do you recommend we integrate this with our backend systems? Good question, why do you ask? Well, we're moving from Oracle to SAP, so just want to make sure this works. Oh yeah, well, we actually have integration solutions and connectors to both SAP and Oracle. So no matter what you choose and however how long it takes, you'll be in good shape. And now you just took that 5-minute rant about it depends down to a simple yes that gave the customer confidence to move forward. Because it's not that it depends is the wrong answer. I'm not arguing that. It's just bad for sales because it creates indecision. If you say it depends to a business user, you might go over their head, confuse them, and you're wasting their time because they want just a simple yes or no. If you say it depends to an enterprise architect, these guys sometimes aren't the nicest people in the world, and they'll go and put holes in your argument the more information you give, or they'll just be a blocker later on. So consider that when you're about to say it depends, that's usually the time when I'll ask a follow-up question just to dig a little bit deeper. And it saves time in the meeting, and it's the complete opposite of that, oh, answer every question with a follow-up question. I mean, that's ridiculous, and it's a huge waste of prospect's time. The goal here is to help the prospect make a decision more quickly, and saying it depends does not help that.